Again, I'm a voyeur, so I love it. I'll watch it. I don't.
It was
Yeah,
definitely.
sideshows that would come in and stuff. Do you still do those?
Or yes. Like this?
Oh, and the butterflies, before you get on, you're waiting in line.
Certified freak, 7 days a week.
Hey, we made it. What up, shoppers?
Hello.
Chelsea here with.
Marilu.
Let me get Marilu back on top here.
Oh, back on track or on top?
What is up, Merce Sausage and Bubbles? Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you folks.
Yes. How is everyone?
Keith out of the box. Well, listen, if the last person who's watching chimes in, we will be 4 for 4. Speaking of 4 for 4, we're actually back on TikTok. So we're going to see if we can't not get kicked off of TikTok again. like we have our TikTok. We don't necessarily get kicked off, but what ends up happening is for some reason, after about a show or two, they don't let us go live anymore. So they must think we're too naughty.
What
do you think about that, Marilu?
I've seen quite a few naughty things that are worse than ours.
Well, it's the live thing. I don't know if it's because it's live or I don't know. Hey, listen, whatever. Hey. Fuck it. Saying fuck it probably is going to get us kicked off. I guess maybe I should read. I guess I should read the terms and conditions for going live. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Well, hello, widgets.
Hello.
Widgets with the digits. Or is it digits with widgets?
Widgets. I don't know.
Yeah, digits with widgets.
Whichever one you want to go with. Yeah.
Speaking of widgets, can we jump right into this past weekend? I mean, I know it's a little early in the show to, normally we talk about something silly or stupid or fun, but.
Go for it.
Bubble says that they are really strict about live on the clock app. So, well, hey, listen, we're an education-based show, so anything we say is purely for educational purposes.
That is correct.
None of what we talk about is designed to be salacious or sensual or sexual in any way, shape, or form. Despite the fact that you have 2 sexy motherfuckers sitting on the show right now.
Boy, you're just like... I
can stop. Go ahead. I'll let you talk for a while.
Well, I have to agree with you, so, I mean... sorry. I just snorted.
Listen, all 4 of our viewers are very disappointed in your snort.
My usual giggle is an overload right now, so.
I thought you were getting ready to say your yins or giggle.
No, but I got called out this week.
Called out?
Yes, by someone. They were like, you're yinsing. And I was like, I'm what?
You're yinsing.
Well, I guess I was having conversation with somebody who knows that I'm from Cleveland. I'm not originally here. We're not from Pittsburgh originally. And I was describing something and they were like, oh my God. Oh my God. And I was like, oh my God, what? Like, what happened? And they were like, you said an at. And I said, I said, what? You said an at. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying. And they're like, you totally yinsed out. You said an at. And I was like,
so.
Oh shit, I did.
So for those non-local viewers, Yinzer speak or the Yinzer vernacular includes a number of different words that are pretty much unique to the Western Pennsylvania, maybe even Pittsburgh,
yeah,
proper area. Um,
Yeah, I would say so.
and the word yins or yinzer is one of those. But
Hmm.
what Mary Lou's talking about is instead of saying and that,
Uh-huh.
they say in that, like N apostrophe AT, in that.
Hmm.
So like there's literally a restaurant in Pittsburgh called Eggs and Nat.
Hmm. And I guess I said it, and I had to replay the sentence in my head, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I just said da, 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 and that. Oh, I did say an at." I'm like, it took me 10 years till the Yinzer vernacular hit my head and came out my mouth that I just kind of like.
I, I have yet to succumb to the dark side of, of being a Pittsburgh Yinzer. Now,
Hey,
have I used it to fit in? Maybe.
maybe.
I've no, but I've purposefully used it in conversations where I know it would be appreciated or more of like just almost I use it almost as a term of endearment now when
Okay.
I use it. So like sometimes like Teresa, who's not originally from
Uh-huh.
Pittsburgh, kind of uses it and almost like as a badge of honor. So anyway, so I don't really use it too much.
Yeah. Well, as Bubble says, I've lived here for 23 years, which is most of my life. And anytime I've ever mentioned that I'm from Pittsburgh, whoever I'm speaking to is really shocked. I don't sound like I am, and I'm so glad.
I think Bubbles has one of those. Like they could probably do like you, Mary Lou, but they could do erotic novel reading, which is probably why they don't have that Yinzer uh, Western PA dialect or what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway,
Well, I've had people also tell me that I have a Cleveland accent, and I'm like, but I mean, I lived in Cleveland. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, and then they're like, oh no, 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 you don't have an accent like that. You're like, you have an Ohio, a Cleveland accent, and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
I've heard the same.
I'm like, I honestly don't know what that is, and I think I get it more so too from people that live in the southern part of Ohio, like people from Cincinnati, Dayton
Hmm.
area, say that we northern Ohio people talk differently, and I was like, okay, well, we all say that you southern Ohioers talk differently.
Well, I first of all, I think that's true. I mean, you've talked about that, and I don't want to get too deep in the woods about accents and geographical differences, but you don't have to go too far out of Western PA into West Virginia, and you have completely different dialects and accents.
Mm-hmm.
Um, New York City, our good friend Rock and Ronnie, even though he's been in Florida for many years, he still has a lot of that New York accent.
Uh-huh. There's a little
Um,
bit of it, yeah.
yeah, no, I definitely. So I think it's just a matter of where you're from. Everyone speaks slightly differently. You're going to have different pronunciations of
Yeah.
different words. So
Oh,
you have that in Spanish too. So
oh
some
yeah.
words mean different things,
Oh yeah.
like the same words.
Yeah, something that to us is like just like a normal word
Hmm.
that actually describes an item or a thing.
Hmm.
In Spanish, in Puerto Rico, you say that same word in Mexico or in Honduras, and everyone's like, that's a bad word.
Are you allowed to say what the bad word is?
Um, um, I mean, well, some people are like bicho.
Hmm.
That's means penis for us. It's slang for penis, but for some
Mhm.
other places it means something totally different.
Mm.
So but yeah, someone could come up to you and just be like da 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 blah, 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 and say something and you're like, what? And they're like, what? I'm talking about a cake. And we're like, that is not a cake for us.
Hmm.
But I digress. You know.
Speaking of differences in dialects and people,
Mhm.
um, I do want to touch on this past Friday. We had our Neurospicy event, and I actually quite enjoyed it myself. I'm beginning to wonder about myself at this point.
uh,
Um, one of the things, um, one of the reasons that we hosted the Neurospicy event this past Friday is because we have such a wide and diverse member base that it includes a lot of people um, who are either diagnosed with or are have challenges in either socializing or being in certain places or certain stimuli. And so we decided to change things up this past Friday and really bring down the level at the club to and the way I described it was really a loungy feel.
mhm.
Hence the shop social lounge.
Yes.
And we had 70 people show up for that. That was fantastic. I mean, for a first event of its kind,
Mhm.
I don't know that anybody else has done anything like that. I thought it was pretty wild. So,
Yeah, it was a good turnout. It was great to see people interacting in a different way. Not so much different from what we normally see, but just there were people that actually were gravitating to the icebreakers and the emo coloring books and the card games and just different facets of the club that are normally here, but just toned, like you said, toned down a bit.
mhm,
The music was toned down. It was still, lively pop music, um, but it wasn't heavy based and it wasn't um, at the usual volume that we normally would have it. Um, the lounge area, it was great to see people actually picking up the name tags and putting them on because I went through like I think I did 50 of them where I actually put like a question or a statement at the top
mhm,
of each um, name badge
mhm,
so that it was an icebreaker. So they were everything from, um, you know, ask me about my pet, or I like to be an exhibitionist or a voyeur. What
mhm,
do you think? And to get people to talk and kind of be like, oh, what's your say? So that was kind of cool too to see people interacting in that fashion. Because it was no pressure, one, and it wasn't them coming up with the question per se or statement that was on the name tag. That was kind of like, um, you know, just them picking out whatever name tag,
mhm.
you know, uh, so they didn't have to think about it, about asking a question or making a statement in conversation. That was the highlight. Oh, hey. Oh, I'm Dave. Oh, I see that you say ask me about your pet. So, what kind of pet do you have? And it was really cool to see people actually just, engaging in that way. Mm,
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's I say this a lot to people because when they talk about the club and they'll ask me like, "Oh, you must really like busy nights, like when it's busy." From a fiscal standpoint, yes, I love it when we have really busy nights. From a personal standpoint, like what we had on Friday night and even Saturday,
Mhm.
definitely more people on Saturday. Um, just being those overly crowded environments to me never really did much for me, and um, today really don't at all. Again, except for the fact that I run a business that begs to have more people at events.
Right. Yeah.
So, but at any rate, yeah, I definitely we will do the event again. That was question
Mhm.
number one. Not only from people that attended,
Yeah.
but for people who were unable to attend that event on Friday, asking whether or not we're going to do it again. And
Mhm.
at this point, I would say it's a resounding yes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I would
zero
definitely do
spicy. I think that was a win.
that. Well, and then on Saturday, it was our Candyland candy shop.
Candy shop, yes. Candy
Yes.
shop party. Yeah, that was another good event. I actually liken it to a sort of um, kind of like a glow party because everyone's wearing a lot of fun, bright, vibrant colors,
Yeah.
just sans the black lights. So I saw a lot of really fun, unique sort of costume outfits that people put together. Um, lots of blow pops and suckers and stuff like that going around the club. That's for sure.
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely a lot of well, I had to laugh because the doors opened at 8:30 for our early entry, and at 9:30 people were walking up to me going, "Where's the candy bar?" Where like, you know, the anxiety over not having a lollipop or a Twizzler or something in their mouths was so much so that I had numerous people walking up to me going, "Are you guys doing the candy bar tonight? Like, is the candy bar happening?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just it'll be all that stuff will be out in another half hour." Boy, that stuff went out and it was like gone.
Mm.
Regular suckers, ring pops, um, oh my god, the nip sips and uh, just a lot of fun candy that bottle rockets that we remember from more or less growing up more so. The only thing I missed this year was uh, the wax lips, candy
Mhm.
lips. Um, we've had those out before, but yeah, and I mean, candy gone. In fact, I went down Sunday to see if there was anything left, and I was like, maybe a ring pop is laying around somewhere. Maybe so, no, all gone.
What is a nip sip?
It looks it
Yeah, I
actually
think I
looks
actually saw it, but I
yeah,
have never seen one before until this past weekend.
they look like little Coke bottles, and they're wax, and you like bite the top off, and it's just got like syrup in it, like Coke flavored, cherry flavored.
Oh, I never called it a nip sip before.
Yeah.
Sounds very naughty. Sounds like a sexual act.
Yeah.
I'd
But yeah, there
like
was
to give you the nip sip.
there was a lot of stuff around, and it was great to see everyone enjoying themselves. Everyone walking around with the suckers and
Mhm.
blow pops, tootsie roll pops, blah. So it was cool.
There was yeah, on the slower nights like Friday nights like that, I get to talk to people and hear different things and
Hmm.
discussions and stuff like that. And um, you know, it's interesting. It seems recently we're having this I don't want to say flood, flood's maybe a strong word, but a flood of people, not new people, but people haven't been to the club in a long time, some
Right.
before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really interesting to see people or get people's reaction to the changes in the club, not just physically, which, many of them comment on, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
also just in how the club is run. um, and there was a conversation over the weekend where somebody was commenting about the fact that, we really have blended different areas of sexuality together into one place. Um, you know, the club that started primarily as sort of a swingers club many, many years ago. Um, I was told a long time ago something like kink and swinging. I was told
Mm-hmm.
that those two things could never work together. Like you couldn't put those same people in the same event together. And I never understood that. And I said, why not?
Yeah.
And somebody actually commented over the weekend. They said that, oh, it's just really weird and strange that the shop tries to put kinksters and swingers was the word that they used together in one space. It's like they're using the kinksters as, for kinksters as somebody for the swingers to stare at. And I was blown away by that statement. I'm
Wow.
like, and unfortunately, this was somebody that's one of those people. They haven't been to the club in many, many years, and they're really formulating that opinion based on something from 6, 7 years ago. Like,
Okay.
but I always push back on that notion that people of different relationship styles or
Mm-hmm.
sexual interest couldn't be in the same space together. And I really think that today the shop is a place that embodies that.
Mm-hmm.
That it doesn't matter if you're a little kinky or a little slutty, or you can love multiple partners, or maybe you're just into masturbation or exhibitionism, or insert your interest here. Generally speaking, that is welcome, not just welcomed, but celebrated at the shop.
Yeah.
And so I found that interesting to hear that, um, that some people still believe that it's not possible for people of different types of interest to be together in one space and have a great
Yeah.
time. And so, what is up, Jason?
Hello, Jason. Yeah, that blows my mind. I could see where years ago where the concept or the thought process was that um, each entity had their own way of looking at consent, so that you know, their heads might butt on the concepts, and who's right and who isn't, and overall, you know I think that the consent models nowadays are actually more aligned within each group than they've ever have been. You know,
I,
opening up the space for everyone to enjoy.
I can tell you that, first of all, I agree with you,
Mhm.
1,000%. At least here at the shop, I would say our consent model m- matches very closely to a lot of others. Kink models or very strict models.
Mhm.
Um, one of the things when we talk about kink, not all kinksters are, you know, um, ethically non-monogamous. Also, many
Right.
times couples are just coupled and play together, but they
Mhm.
play in dungeon spaces and stuff. So I can see where some people might feel that way, just like there are people who are ethically non-monogamous or polyamorous or whatever who aren't necessarily into kink. Bubble says it in a way. Swinging
Yeah.
is in a way kink. If your interests lie beyond just um, being with one person, yeah, I could see that how that in and of itself is a kink.
Mhm.
People fantasize about being with more than one person at the same time. That's actually a very common fantasy for both men and women.
Yeah, it
Uh,
is.
uh, Being with a stranger, you know, um, there's all sorts of things, and I don't think there is a right or wrong way to explore that, as long as it's being done in a way that is making sure you're being respectful of other people.
Yes.
Um, one of the I really love this term, and I don't remember now where I heard it, but it was "don't yuck on others' yum." It's a very common
Mhm.
term. You hear it now a lot, um, but it's the truth. Just because it's not for you doesn't mean it's an you.
That's
So,
true.
but I mean, listen. There's plenty of things that I'm not into, and there's plenty of things that I am into that I am into that others are not. So, um, just it is what it is. So, but know that the shop is the place for you to explore that. And I just wanted to touch on one more thing
Sure.
as it relates to um, how the club operates. Um, there's also been conversation about the fact that we segued our name from the body shop to the shop. And we've talked
Mhm.
about this before in the live stream, but I just want to reiterate that um, the biggest reason for the name change is because there's been such a philosophical shift in how we operate. And, 10 years ago when we opened, it was very much about the party, the party atmosphere, the loud music, the outrageous behavior, the getting drunk, and I always use the Jimmy Buffett reference. Let's all get drunk and screw type mentality, and that has since gone away. And what you find now is a much more respectful, social, um, kinder atmosphere. Yes, do we have parties that are crazy and off the hook? Absolutely. But none of them involve getting super drunk and ridiculously stupid that way. If
Mhm.
that's the type of environment you're looking for, then the shop is absolutely not it. But if you're looking for a space that you can really open up and be yourself and be comfortable and have conversation and cut loose a little bit if you want
Yeah.
to, great. Then you're definitely in the right place. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Um, Also, this past Sunday was Rope Bite.
Yes.
Marilu and I did not get to participate in Rope Bite this week. Well, we don't most weeks anyway. Uh, but because we spent the afternoon at the Frick Park, which is a whole other conversation. We'll save that for another time or later.
Well, it was our first time there, so I'll give
It
you
was
that.
our first time there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rope Bite was this past weekend. They had a really nice turnout.
Mhm.
I'm proud to say that the shop hosts Rope Bite, and they've been around for a long time, and many of the years that they've been around, they've been at the shop,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate that. So
Mhm.
if you're into rope, interested in learning rope, check out ropebitepgh.com. There are free online tutorial videos there that you can learn at home at your own
Mhm.
pace. And then they do free workshops here at the shop.
Right.
So
Yeah, those are always fun. It's fun to in the past when I do go downstairs and see everybody, it's great to see all the different groups, and seeing, especially walking into the dungeon area, which is where generally the beginners group is at, and just seeing all the new faces and stuff. It's always fun to be like, oh my god, you know, they've got a nice group in there, you know, and or seeing people that are members of the club actually like, you know, taking advantage of the fact that there is the class and being like, wow, I didn't realize this was here,
Hmm.
you know, till now. So those are always a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
For sure.
Mhm. What's gonna? Oh, Jason. Going back to sultry voices. Yes, yes, Bubbles. Is your voice is a little velvety.
And I just want to say that you do have some solidarity. Both Bubbles and Widget said that they snort as well when they laugh.
Oh.
So I've actually snorted. So I don't think I don't personally think there's anything wrong with snorting. I never really understood that. So
For me, it's like when I get to that point, you know, I always laugh because a lot of people will tell me, "Oh, they know when I'm in the building because they hear my giggle and that it's distinct." And like I don't see that. I don't hear that, I guess. Uh, but then when I get to the point where the giggle is overridden by the snorting because it's whatever it is so funny and whatever, then I kind of like, oh, I'm snorting.
hmm.
You know, like I get a little subconscious of it, you know, because it does sometimes, you know, draw attention.
I think that because I have when you said that, I started thinking. I was trying to think of, do I ever get embarrassed because
Hmm.
I'm laughing or laughing too hard or laughing in a way? And I think maybe sometimes, occasionally, I think I'm laughing way too ridiculously hard,
Okay.
like in that regard. So I wonder, is it sort of the same thing? Like you're embarrassed because you were laughing so hard you snorted?
um, I guess. I mean, I don't know how to describe it other than that. I feel like at this point now it's drawing more attention. So I'm just kind of like, you know, I already know that people are conscious of my giggle and what it sounds like, that so much so that they tell me they know I'm in the building or that they know who it is that's laughing and giggling. Um, you know, because they relate it to me. But when I, like I said, when I get to that next level of snorting, then I'm just kind of like, oh my
I don't think about it very often, but when you were talking about snorting and that, people have commented to me that I have a very distinct voice.
god. Mm-hmm.
Um, and um, I've heard that I sound like Seth Rogen. Um, anyway, I've gotten different variations of that,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember the first time I heard it was at jury duty, and it totally caught me off guard. And then I remember later on listening to me talk at some point, I'm like, oh my god, I do kind of sound like Seth Rogen. So I've always been a little not self-conscious, but sort of cognizant of that like, okay, am I talking right now? Do I sound like Seth Rogen?
Now that you say it, it's like right now I don't hear it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But there's other times when obviously when I'm not like looking at you directly or whatever, and you're in another, you know, talking to me from another room or whatever, it kind of kicks up every once in a while.
Bubble says, oh my god, you do sound like Seth Rogen. I've never made that connection until now. Well, you're welcome. Do I sound like Seth Rogen now?
A little, a little. I'll give you that. You know. But,
Yes.
yeah.
And I actually thought about Bubble says, at least I don't have the very distinct laugh. Yes,
Right.
that is true. Although after I heard that, I was trying to figure out if maybe I could be a Seth Rogen impersonator if I could learn his laugh.
I don't know, that is a very distinctive laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, so
Yes. So anyway,
I wanted to talk about
let's talk about sex, baby.
you know
You and me. Let's talk
um
all the good things and the bad things we can
you
be.
know, this Thursday is going to be our second happier hour,
Mm-hmm.
as a meet and greet open house.
Bubbles.
Oh my god.
Bubbles says that Seth Rogen's laugh is very stoner coded.
Yes.
That's funny.
Oh my god. So no, this week for us actually starts on Thursday.
Actually, this week started on Sunday, but
Well, it started on Sunday with Road Bite, yes, but we do have our second happier hour this Thursday. It's from 6 to 9, and
uh,
huh?
you said 69,
I said 6 to 9.
like eggs in that.
Yeah.
Like you 6 to
But
8:30.
it's a great way that if you've never been to the club and you're curious, to be able to come and do the open house during that time. You get a tour of the space. You get to meet some other real members that are here and maybe hear their first time stories and get their take on what the club is about. And it's from 6 to 9 you can ask anything. Nothing's off limits. And um, the first one we did 2 Thursdays ago. It was so much fun. For me, it was so much fun to see our current members that were here and then the new people coming into the space and asking the questions, those heavy hitter questions about what the space is like and what to expect or not expect, and how to go about talking to people. So I think this Thursday again is a great opportunity for those of you that are watching that have an interest in what the shop is all about. Well,
It's certainly a low barrier for you to come see what it's about, what it's like inside. Um, I was actually talking to somebody about this over the weekend.
uh-huh.
I literally just pulled my microphone stand out of the. Wow. I was talking to somebody about new people in general, and I know there's a lot of trepidation for people who have searched this out. They're curious about it, or maybe we talk about this a lot. Not everybody who attends the shop is into ethical non-monogamy or polyamory or kinky or swinging
Mhm.
or any of those things. Sometimes they're in a relationship with a partner, so they just want to be in a space. Like I know for a fact this weekend we had somebody come on Friday night who specifically they had zero interest in connecting with other people sexually,
Right.
but were very much exhibitionists.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And that's totally cool. And you don't even have to be that. You could
Right.
just want to be in, you could just want to be away from the house for the night,
Yeah, away from the kids and
whatever.
be in a sexually charged atmosphere
Yes.
there where again, nothing has to happen. You
Mhm.
could just enjoy the space, enjoy, the other members, the camaraderie, conversation, the dancing, all of those things, and then go home together and be like, oh my God, did you see what was going on here? Did you see
Exactly.
that? Where it becomes, being in the space, um, you know, though you may not be interested in connecting with others in a sexual way, um, it's always fun to kind of relive the night,
Hmm.
on the drive back home and kind of take home that sexually charged atmosphere.
Yeah, I consider, for some, the shop might be the spark that lights the flame for when they get home.
Yeah.
Um, for others, they light the spark and have the inferno here. And
Probably because they can't do it at home.
sometimes it's a bonfire. Speaking of that, I just wanted to circle back to really quick to Neuro Spicy Night.
Uh-huh.
Holy shit, there was a lot of spiciness going on.
Mm-hmm. There was.
You some spicy mofos, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the last time I saw a Friday night event that active.
Really?
I mean, I can't say a whole lot because we're on TikTok, but let's just say there was a really big bonfire in the group room.
Good.
And Bubbles, like Bubbles says, the shop is a good place to get out of the house. I would agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bubbles says, we neurospices are some freaks. Listen, it took me starting a whole club for me to be able to find a place I could be comfortable to do my shit.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a lot of truth to that. Speaking of that,
Yes.
anybody watching this show watched the Charlie Sheen documentary yet?
I did.
Marilyn, I did. Did you know he was bisexual?
No, actually I didn't. It was, yeah, it
No,
was
go ahead.
interesting. Huh?
What were you going to say?
No, I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, you just threw the bomb out there.
I don't think that was a bomb. I thought it was really surprising. I think there was a lot in the documentary about him that was like, wow. But yeah, Charlie Sheen's bisexual.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Bubbles. It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah. Yes, on Netflix.
Yeah, it just came out on Netflix recently. It's
Two-parter.
yeah, Charlie Sheen's in it. Denise Richards. I can't remember the guy's name from Two and a Half Men. But yeah, they interviewed a bunch of different people, and of course Charlie Sheen. And yeah, so I thought that was pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Charlie Sheen got something in common.
There you go. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting one, and um um oh my God. I was gonna say, when we were talking about neurospicy, there's an actress out there that was actually doing a a interview, and they described themselves as being neurospicy, and it came from the context of, here they were in their 40s, and when they finally got diagnosed with ADHD and being on the spectrum, and that, once they kind of got that bit of information, they were like, oh, okay, so all of this stuff makes sense to me. And they described it not just as in how their brain worked, but as in their life choices in a spicy sense. That they were really intrigued, by a lot of things sexually. where, other people were just kind of like, okay, you're like, what's your fascination with this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And so when they got that diagnosis, they were kind of like, oh, okay, this all makes sense to me. You know? So it was interesting to actually hear someone else use that term uh, in a actual like report, interview kind of thing.
Mm.
You know, but yeah, I think Charlie Sheen might be neurospicy as well.
He's neuro something.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, he talks. A lot of the documentaries about him, using drugs and smoking crack and all that, and a lot of cocaine.
Hmm.
He, what I find interesting is that he talks so freely about the drug use, but didn't want to give any sort of detail about sexually the things he explored.
Um, I think that could probably be because, his uh, a couple of his children were being interviewed for this documentary as well. That maybe he didn't want to get into too deep of a detail, situation. But I did like his explanation of, like, he questioned, why he kind of went down that rabbit hole of, being with other men.
Mm-hmm.
And was it something from his childhood? Was it this? Was it that, all the things that most people kind of like, why am I like this way?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, he was like, who cares? Who
Right.
cares?
Right.
It was something I've done, I'm doing, and it's not hurting anybody.
Right.
So who cares? You know? So, kudos to him.
Yeah, and that's just it. I think probably the biggest block for people, and I know it has been for me in many ways, is the self shame, the
Hmm.
self shaming.
Yeah.
Like the thing that I like, before I came out as bisexual, and even, when you and I first started in our relationship together,
Hmm.
there was a lot of shame associated around being bisexual,
Hmm.
especially me being such an imposing large person. um, Even when I would suggest to people that I was, the automatic assumption, or
Hmm.
that I was kinky, the automatic assumptions are that I'm a top, or that
Right.
I'm a dominant. And,
Hmm.
you know, while I can be those things, um, the shame was in the fact that I wasn't. I wasn't a masculine, dommy, top kind of guy. So they carried a lot of shame with that. So, and I think that's true for a lot of people when it comes to their sexual interests.
Hmm.
And so that's super important to me to make sure that people feel comfortable in this space, so that they can be who they are, or who they want to be, or
Right.
think they want to be.
That's
So,
true.
um, but I was actually really, sounds pedestrian to say happy, that he shared that. That was, I think, very brave. I could tell just as he was sharing it how uncomfortable he was sharing it
Hmm.
about having been with other men. Well, while he didn't go into detail about that, I think just saying that out loud, um, for the first time, for what is likely to be millions of people to now know,
Hmm.
yeah, that's
Well,
kind of a big deal.
yeah. And he did say, when it was all said and done, he was like, you don't realize this is so freeing to just say it,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, he said, what did he say? Train didn't come crashing through the sidewall and a piano
Yeah,
didn't fall on my head and nobody
right.
came to stop me. It was because before that happens, and I'm going to say this as it relates to anything where it's outside of the traditional aspects of sexuality.
Hmm.
I think probably many people feel that way about their sexual interests. Like, oh my God, if I say this thing out loud to somebody else, these terrible things are going to happen to me.
Right.
Obviously, not a piano falling in your head or getting shot, but
Hmm.
judgment from others,
Yeah.
criticism, hate. Those things are all possible.
Yeah.
Um, so it's understandable to have trepidation about it. Um, but the thing I really appreciate about the fact that he did that he came out and said that, is that the more we put it out there, the more we say that this is how people are, or this is how a lot of people are, you begin to feel more comfortable knowing that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Belfrea says it's probably easier for women, but it was challenging for me to say I was bi out loud.
Hmm.
Um, I think that there's some truth to that, Belfrea. And what I mean by that is, I think pornography and movies and stuff like that have sort of normalized the idea of two women being together.
Right.
So I think in that regard, yes, there is a lot more general acceptance of it, but that doesn't make it any less frightening for the individual who is either experiencing it for the first time or thinking about it for the first time
Yeah.
or saying it out loud for the first time.
Hmm.
That's woefully different.
Yeah.
Um, yes. Might the acceptance be more palatable? Yes. But the feelings associated with coming out, so to speak, are very real.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
And I think, we talk about this otherwise, there's, like you said, porn, TV, um
erotica.
erotica, um they all talk so freely about women being bisexual, um to the point where, you know someone who doesn't know any difference, like, assumes that all women are.
Yeah, that's certainly been, I think, a challenge in our communities,
Hmm.
is that there's a wild assumption that the majority of women that are in the lifestyle or participating are bisexual.
Right. And excuse me, um you know with that, I think there's still, there's still a stigma on, in reference to bi males versus bi
Hmm.
women, because for most individuals, having two or seeing two women together is a fantasy,
Hmm.
that's out there in mainstream. I mean, hello, on Netflix, the series that came out this year, Hunting Wives, like, that was one of the backstories, was that, the majority of the women that were in this group were all bisexual, you know um
Hmm.
and so much so that, you know that was the highlight of the series, was like, you know they're yeah, they're talking about women being together and being bisexual and being married,
Hmm.
that it was like, oh my god, it was so salacious. And there were TikToks and reels and stories and everything you can think of on social media about it. And it's like, okay, but it's okay, that's, you know it's normal. Why make such a big deal of it?
Having sex is normal.
Yes. I know.
What are,
It's
what are
hard to believe.
some tips, if anything, that you would have or you would tell somebody? Because I know you do. Um, you talk to couples and individuals as a sexologist, and sort of talk them through some of their challenges or concerns or issues. What are one or two things that you could advise somebody on to help them overcome shame that they might be feeling, either
Mhm.
from themselves or fear of shame from others? Like, what advice would you give them?
You know, and you know that I don't like using this word because I feel like it's overused and it's um
Go for it, Mary Lou. Say the word. Say it. Say it.
um you have to be authentic. You have to be true to yourself. And how can you know be in a marriage and love someone else if you can't love yourself first, and how you are as a human being, to then be able to express that to your partner and or your future partners. Well, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Like you said, sex is sex. You know, and it's not going to be the same for everybody.
Right.
You know? That phrase, the horrible word was moist. No, because for me, for the longest time, people would just say, "I just want to be true to myself,"
Hmm.
and then the word authentic kind of became a buzzword. And I think for a lot of people, they say it, but they don't know what it really means, and or they don't know how to act on it. So it just becomes another label. And that's for me why I don't like using that word. I rather use other terms. um,
So, what happens when, because you said something when you were talking about that, about sharing with your partner. And I know this happens a lot because we have had so many people come through the club as individuals, um, who say, well, my partner is not really into this, or, my partner's not into that. What advice do you give an individual who's in a relationship with somebody where something that they want to do, um, their partner wants nothing to do with?
well, first, we always say you have to communicate. you know um, Not just communicating about your sexuality, but your wants, your needs, your desires. And the hope is that your partner is understanding enough to know that, um, you know, there needs to be a sense of compersion there. And for those that don't know the word compersion, it means to be happy to see your partner happy, and them achieving all their wants and needs, however that may be. Um,
Isn't that just another form of people pleasing?
no, because I think what everyone seems to forget at one point or another, we were all individuals before we became partners, before we became husband and wife, or wife and wife, or husband and husband, however
Hmm.
however your dynamic is. So um I think to some degree everyone should be allowed to have their own autonomy. you know so again, communicate, and find that, even if you can't be in full agreement, at least find that, middle road where you both can be happy for each other and allow each other to engage in what makes the other one happy. Mhm. So,
Cool.
yeah. I know. I'm trying not to use the word authentic. Be true to yourself, or finding your core, your essence,
I think simply put, and I want to qualify something really quick as
Mhm.
I say this. um, I've been putting recovering people pleaser on my little tagline on
Yeah.
my game, and I do that specifically for a reason, as a reminder to myself that, um, as a recovering people pleaser, that there are going to be times where those things kick in, and sometimes it's difficult to navigate. Is the thing that I want too much? Um, when I do the Would You Mind workshop, I talk about um, people pleasing is a byproduct of, it's a trauma response,
It
usually
is.
born out of childhood traumas or relationship traumas. Um, the opposite of that is being narcissistic, which is also born out of trauma and traumatic experiences. So they're just on a spectrum. And so sometimes it's finding that mix in between those two things and making sure that the ego is not getting in the way of the decision making. Um, the opposite of people pleasing isn't I want, I want, I want, therefore I get. Um, Valfreya, it's tough.
It
It's a
is.
daily practice. It's sometimes a moment by moment practice. If you're interested, I'll send you some information about the Would You Mind workshop. I'd be happy to go through it with you.
Mhm.
Um, you know, Mary Lou just recently sent a link out. Her friend Mara
Mhm.
is doing a people pleasing workshop. It's I think a 6 or 8 week workshop.
Mhm.
Um, I was able to navigate mine through language and using phrasing and words that helped. Um, I used some real life FBI Jedi mind trick stuff to trick myself into not being a people pleaser. It didn't happen intentionally that way, but in a nutshell, it is a practice. So if you are really struggling with people pleasing, I'd really love to help. If you go to
Mhm.
wouldyoummind.com, you can actually get some information about it. So
Yeah.
I did that mostly because being a people pleaser in a place like the shop, or if you're, God forbid, you're somewhere else where consent isn't forward and first,
Mhm.
um, being a people pleaser in that type of place is a recipe for disaster. So, so Widget
Mhm.
says that they think people pleasing is a defense mechanism, often born of trauma. Agreed, 1,000%.
Mhm.
But also of socialization. Yes. Um, Mary Lou and I grew up in cultures where shut up and do what you're told. Do as I say, not as I do.
Mhm. Respect your elders.
Yes.
Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. So those things come into play also. And it's difficult as an adult to shift out of that childhood mindset of I've got to just be say yes to everybody and get and go along to get along.
Right. And a lot of people with their people pleasing, it's not even to, to that degree as but for some people it's I'll be liked if I do this.
Yes. Yep.
I will be a part of this if I do this.
Yeah.
If I do all these things for this person, then they're going to tell their friends that I did all these things, and then in turn they will like me as well.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to frame the people pleasing. That's for sure.
Yeah. And it does. It shows up in many, many different ways.
Hmm.
I want to comment on the last thing Widget said, which was being
Uh-huh.
happy that your partner is happy is a gift of love. I agree 1,000% on that.
Mhm.
I think if you truly, I think parents can speak to this if you're a parent, and if you're not, it's not to single you out in any way, shape, or form, but true love is being happy for your partner when they're happy.
Mhm.
Um, we've talked about this before on the live stream when we talk about forsaking all others. That's intended to be you're giving up core aspects of yourself for
Mhm.
me. That's the sign of true love, that you can forsake all others, including yourself,
Mhm.
for your partner. And I think it's the opposite. The opposite is be happy for your partner, whether you are their happiness or not, or whether or not you are the person putting the smile on their face. Um, you know, oh, Valfreya, I talk about that. People
Mhm.
pleasers are the absolute master manipulators. So
Yeah.
if you're in a relationship with a people pleaser, know that you are being manipulated most of the time. Sorry, people pleasers, I just outed you all. No, not all the time. Of course, I'm saying that tongue in cheek. Um, but yeah, but we learn how to do that for survival. The problem is that we carry it through into our adulthood where it's unnecessary. I'm a 54-year-old man. I don't need to people please anybody. you know, Stop me.
Mhm.
And same for anybody. I mean, if you're 18 years old in 30 seconds, you don't have to people please anybody. You can just live your life. Don't hurt others. Don't
Yeah.
be an asshole. Don't be a dick. Um, but live your life.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going over a little bit, so I want to touch on our events. Marilu, you mentioned Happier Hour earlier.
Yes.
Um, this Friday is Freaky Friday. I did confirm that Central Outreach will be testing this month, but they will not be testing in October. So if you are interested in getting screened for STD, STIs for free, Central Outreach will be at the shop from 9 o'clock until about 11:30. I think they leave midnight.
Yeah. Mhm.
So you can get screened for free. A ticket is required. The nice part is that even though you are paying for a ticket to get in and get screened, the shop gives you $10 back in shop points so that you can use it for another event. So your ticket effectively becomes $20, and you can use that $10 for another event, like Bring a Guest, which is this Saturday.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to talk about Bring a Guest here for a couple of minutes, which is going to push us a little bit longer over, but it's super important.
Yes.
This is our first time doing this event. Just like Neurospicy was last weekend, we have never done a Bring a Guest night. So I'm going to explain very carefully how this works. If you are a member of the shop, you're a current member of the shop, and you invite a guest to come to the shop for the first time, they're brand new, they fill out their application, they get approved. When you two attend together, the member's ticket is free, it's complimentary. The shop is thanking you for bringing a new couple. Just make sure that the new couple, when they apply, or at least at some point, put in that you referred them. For me, it's good enough you just show up together. If you bring a new couple, great. Doesn't have to be a couple, it could be an individual. Individuals can bring up to two people.
Mhm.
We will give you a free event ticket.
Now, their guest, though, still has to apply. Is that correct?
They absolutely have to apply. Please, please, please do not just bring somebody, don't pop them in at the door. Make sure they apply. So if they are friends or somebody that you've been talking to, that they've been on the fence, if they're really good friends, they'll split the ticket fee with you, and you can each pay half price. You could do that if you're really that good of friends. But we know that referrals, which we get a lot of now, I almost think that the majority of our people that attend now or for the first time are referrals from other people. So this is a great way to get some free tickets for this weekend. So that is this Saturday. The information is up on the website. So if you have any questions about that, all of the sort of policies around this are there. If we screw something up or whatever, please forgive us. We'll try to make it right. Again, remember, this is our first time doing it. So
awesome.
I'm going to touch on Halloween really quick. We are at 16% left for tickets. We are likely going to be sold out by the end of this month, if not sooner. So Halloween, grab your tickets now. I did just throw an event up on the calendar today. I'm remiss that it wasn't up earlier, but Saturday, October 4th is always the first Saturday of the month is a Deviancy event that you can bet unless something specific happens, like we're closed or, whatever. But Saturday, October 4th is Deviancy Masked Mischief.
Ooh.
So this is all about the masks and hoods and all of the fun stuff. So if you're into masks or you want to have a little anonymity at the club on Saturday night and you want to wear a mask, Saturday's the night for you. Saturday, October 4th, that is. So.
Cool. Wow. I can't believe it's only 16%.
Excuse me, yes. Bubbles, did I just read correctly that you're showing up to the shop for your birthday, for your dirty 30th?
Ah.
I'm wondering what Bubbles has in store for her dirty 30. What did you do for your 30th, Marilu? Do you remember?
I don't.
That's okay.
I don't. But I do know what I did for my 35th.
You do, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what was that?
The week after, I ended up going to my first lifestyle club.
Oh. Wonder if you met anybody interesting there.
I think they're below me.
Bubble says their birthday is technically Saturday. Well, if you are at the shop at 12:01, it will be Saturday.
It will be Saturday, yes.
And I'm just curious then if Bubble will be receiving 30 spankings for her birthday. My gut says yes, but of course I'm asking.
Oh my God.
So, so before we hit the get out of here button, is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we zippity-doo-dah out?
Not right now.
Okay.
I am good.
Sounds good. All right. Well, listen, folks, I appreciate you watching tonight. If you're watching for the first time and you're interested in joining the shop, you can visit bodyshoppittsburgh.com, click the Apply Now button. You'll be to walk through the application. Bubble says they surely hope that they're going to get spanked this weekend. Once you submit your application, you're going to be asked to watch a quick 90-second video about the basic consent policies here at the club. You'll answer a few questions to make sure you paid attention. And then because there are, I don't know how many states now, but age verification has now become a hot button topic, and the shop has been doing it for 2 years now. So you will be required to age verify who you are. Once you're approved, if you're approved, you'll be able to attend events, log in, take part in the shop social community online, and go from there. If you're not quite ready for the club experience, but you have questions about ethical non-monogamy or kinkiness or polyamory or anything else relating to alternative relationships, you can visit MaryLouandYou.com and book an appointment with a board-certified sexologist who will help coach and walk you through whatever issues you may be having. All right. I think that's it.
Yes.
I'm going to hit the let's get out of here button. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. Thanks for popping in here again tonight and watching. If we don't see you this weekend at the shop, we will see you next Monday at 8:05 Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night. Take care.
Bye.
Certified freak, 7 days a week. That wet ass pussy good. My pull-out game weak. Ooh, yeah. I'm fucking with that wet ass. Swimming in it, baby. I'ma bring a bucket and a mop, darling. Give you everything I got. I'm falling. Yeah. I'm fucking with that wet ass. Beat it up, get your charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put your pussy in my face. Swipe my nose like a credit card. I'm gon' tell you wanna ride. Do a giggle while listen. Spit in your mouth, girl, while you looking in my eyes. Your pussy is wet, I'ma take a dive. I'ma tie you up like you're a prize. Let's role play, I'll wear disguise. I'ma park my Mack truck in your garage. Yeah. I'm fucking with that wet ass. Swimming in it, baby. Yeah. I'm fucking with that wet ass. Pussy. Gobble me, swallow me, drip it down inside of me. I gotta jump out before it gets inside of you. Tell me where to put it, but don't tell what you about to do. Talk your shit, baby, bite your lip, girl. Ask for a car while you riding that dick. Oh, I'm gon' tell you wanna ride. Do a giggle while listen inside. Spit in your mouth, girl, while you looking in my eyes. Your pussy is wet, I'ma take a dive. I'ma tie you up like you're a prize. Let's role play, I'll wear disguise. I'ma park my Mack truck